All right. Hello, everybody. Hello. And Merry Christmas. It is the week of Christmas. And I'm excited. You see, I'm trying to be festive. I got my ugly sweater on. I got my Santa Claus hat that is hanging on to a wing and a prayer because my hair is too big, so thus my head is too big for it to really stick to something. So it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there propped. Okay. And I got my little poinsettias in the background and my little candle, all that good stuff, my lantern. We're ready to go. Okay. Setting the mood. I just want to say it is me, Danielle Metro, your up and coming queen of real estate. And thank you for joining me for today's and this week's Tuesday Tip It 2. And I also want to say that I'm super excited because this is the most wonderful time of the year. And also my favorite time of the year. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday as well as Easter. And so I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Things are coming together. If you guys notice my graphic, I had my family, my babies, including my hubby. That's my baby too. On there, we recently took some family photos this year. It was just something we haven't done in a few years. And that was an adventure to say the least. And for another time, I'll share that story. But today, I wanted to talk about why the highest offer may not always be the best offer. Okay. Um, I was inspired to talk about this because I have a listing that is now under contract. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm excited about that. Also excited that in only a few short days we received 5 offers, 4 that were in hand, if you will, meaning they were actually sent to me, drawn up, and one that was verbal. And we were able to my seller was able to decide on which one she deemed best. And it was interesting. It's always interesting when you're on the other side of a transaction. And I just want to say that this topic is really good, not just for sellers but also buyers, right? Because you want to make sure that when you're thinking about putting in an offer for a property, that you understand what it means to have the best offer and why there's a difference between the best offer and the highest offer, right? So, being on the listing side of things, you're able to comb through just all, not just the price, but also the terms, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about today, those terms that can make the difference in getting your offer accepted. And quite frankly, some terms that you would think are ideal or the best thing for any seller may not be. It honestly just depends on the seller's situation. Okay. So let's get into it. All right. Why the highest offers may not be the best offer. It really, again, like I alluded to, comes down to the terms, right? So you may put in an offer, and these are the things that you're going to consider when a seller is looking at the offer. When as a listing agent, such as I was on this particular deal, as well as the seller are going to take into consideration. Okay. So, of course, number one, you're going to take into consideration the price. You're definitely going to take into consideration the price. But the thing that you're also going to take into consideration is the financing. So, if it's cash, um, that's one thing to consider. If it is, what type of mortgage, or if you're getting a mortgage, or you're buying it through financing, what type of mortgage you're getting? Is it a conventional loan? Is it a FHA loan? Is it a VA loan, right? Um, Also, even what type of lender you have. Is it Citizens Bank? I'm not going to talk about that right now. Is it a mortgage lender? Is it Rocket Mortgage? What kind of lender it is? Why do those things matter? I'm gonna tell you why. I'm glad you asked. Um, because, and I know I've talked about this in other Tuesday tips too. Depending on the type of way you're buying, right? FHA can have more restrictions as far as appraisals, and really depending on the property that you're selling. If you're selling a distressed property, this may be more of a factor, or a property that needs fixing, right? It's a fixer upper or dated, right? This may lend more of this may matter more to you. But if you have a decent property, typically whatever financing you're accepting, it doesn't matter. Luckily, in this particular example of my listing, this is a great property. I wasn't concerned about appraisal issues or anything like that. As far as condition, right? As far as condition, not just price, because the appraisal is not only checking and making sure that it's whatever you're going to pay for the property is worth it, but also making sure the condition of the property is okay. With FHA, they're looking at certain safety guidelines and making sure that the house is compatible. With conventional, it's a bit more flexible, so some people would choose a conventional loan over that. Again, especially if you have a dated property or distressed property, they're definitely going to consider conventional over FHA, especially even a VA loan. VA loans are typically the strict S loans that are out there. So those are things to consider. The type, or where, no, I'm sorry, where or who your lender is, should I say? I'm saying where. Who your lender is a factor, right? Because if you are, somebody sends an offer and they have their pre-approval through a bank. Me as a listing agent who has been on the buying side and been on the listing side is going to say, based on my experience, when you're dealing with this type of lender, i.e., a bank or a certain type of bank, it has not been a pleasant experience. I'm going through it right now. That oftentimes going through the home buying process using certain lenders is not the best and smoothest, right? Transition, right? Can be a lot of delays, hiccups, things of that nature, right? So that is a factor when you're accepting an offer. That's one of the terms that you're looking at. Another thing that you're looking at people's making sure that people's buyer financial information is good, right? That they're not over their limit, looking at the fact that, hey, they have stable income, that they have a stable salary, that they have decent savings, right? That the pre-approval is not at the tip top of their budget. Those are other things that you're considering, right? So you're kind of profiling the buyer, from a paper standpoint, not from a standpoint of, other things, but from on paper, literally. Do they look good on paper? Other things to consider when the closing day is. Now, some buyer agents will say, hey, we can do a fast closing, but maybe the sellers don't need a fast close, right? Maybe they're trying to find a place themselves and they need 60 days, right? So just because you're putting down something that say I can close in 2 weeks, that may not be ideal for the seller, right? Um, some other factors to consider as well is if you're getting an inspection done, right? Now, if you're up against, other offers and this offer has no inspections, right? This offer is coming in at 250, right? And has inspections, and then this offer is coming in at 245 but has no inspections. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna pick the 245 one, especially if their kind of buyer profile looks good. If they're looking good on paper, you're gonna pick the one that, oh, I don't have to do this extra step, right? So again, that could be a situation where, hey, I'm cool with taking less money, right? If I don't have to do that inspection part or have to worry about potentially having to give a credit or having to fix something, right? Um, the other things that are a factor again is the cash, how soon you're closing, what you're asking for. You know, maybe you're asking for a home warranty and the seller doesn't want to do a home warranty. Or for some sellers, it's absolutely fine, right? So these are really some of the factors. Also, one factor that people don't think about as well is um, sellers, you know, especially when you're talking about a seller who's just a regular person, right? Or a regular family. They lived in that house for a number of years and all that good stuff. And you might have an investor come in and give a fantastic offer. But the seller may be like, hey, I would really like to sell this to a family, right? I really prefer to sell it to a family. Sometimes they'll take the lesser offer just because they want to sell to a family, right? They, you know, shared memories and all that good stuff. And, you know, they prefer to, you know, give it to somebody who is trying to start their family as well, right? So these are some of the things, again, to consider. And that can beat, you know, a buyer out of winning a property. And it's not, again, always the highest offer. Okay. I think that's everything I wanted to go over. So, yeah. I hope that was helpful, everybody. And yeah, I'm going to see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Tip at 2. Listen, if you like this, if this was helpful in any way, shape, or form, that's what I need you to do. I need you to do what it's saying down there. I need you to do that. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And listen, we can get your home sold in, you know, 4 days, 5 days, or we can buy you, get you, you know, make sure you are getting a home for 2022. All right. And yeah, if you would like to set up a buyer consultation or seller consultation, I need you to go to book.djmrealtyco.com. Again, book.djmrealtyco.com. And yeah, let's get you on the journey of home buying or home selling. All right. Listen, the market is still on fire. You would think it slowed down because it's the holidays, but no, not so. It is still on fire. And I'm going to keep saying that because a lot of people are under the perception, oh no, who's buying now? Who's selling now? Everybody. Everybody. Or everybody. It is happening. So again, Merry Christmas. And I hope to speak with you soon. Remember, there's no place like home, no place like home buying. And I'll see you next week. Bye.